Hi everybody. Welcome to my very first true crime live discussion. Today I'm going to start off with talking about Austin Drummond. Austin stands accused of murdering four individuals that are relative of his girlfriend. Um, an infant was discovered at that point in somebody's front yard. At that point, after that, then they discovered the four bodies of the relatives of his girlfriend. At that point, that sparked a nationwide manhunt for about a week. And he was subsequently found in a forested area and arrested on last Tuesday, the August 5th of 2025. So I do have some articles pulled up that I'm gonna read through. I don't expect anybody to join at this time. Um, but certainly feel free if you do, please like and start commenting. I'm a my channel's a really, really tiny, and I could use, all the support I can get. I'm also going to show a video from JLR. Um, my understanding is JLR doesn't mind that we show his videos just as long as he gets the credit. And God knows the guy does a lot of work. Puts in a lot of work, a lot of time, definitely more than full time. The guy's overtime. And we all know that he travels. The work that he and Magnolia put into their cases um, is quite admirable. And it is something that I wish I could do. I wish I certainly could travel um, and spend as much time on the cases as I could. Um, so bravo, JLR. And like I said, I'll be showing his video. Um, so I'm going to pull up an article that we'll start reading. Um, I'll get my screen shared, so will bear with me here a minute. I also have an article from a criminal defense attorney that explains the next step in the Austin Drummond case. Bear with me here a minute. I'll also have the article and I believe an audio of his previous prison sentence um, explaining, why he thinks he needs to be released, I guess, and defending himself. So, all right, get this shared. All right, got that. And also, I don't expect that this live will be as long um, as most, and certainly not as long as the trial coverages that I do. Um, for those that you don't know, I have fibromyalgia. I have a number of back fractures. I'm diabetic. I have a whole host of other issues. Um, so I do have to get up and walk around frequently. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. All right. So let's go ahead and read along. This is um, from August 7th, so about 2 days after he was arrested. So prosecutors to pursue the death penalty and quadruple murder of abandoned Tennessee baby's family. Prosecutors plan to seek the execution of a man accused of shooting and killing 4 members of a family in rural Tennessee, including the parents of an infant found abandoned under the summer sun miles away, the district attorney said in court on Thursday. Austin Drummond, captured Tuesday after a week-long manhunt, sat handcuffed in a black and white striped prison uniform. And by the way, I also have the video of his first court appearance that we'll be watching. But he sat handcuffed in a black and white striped prison uniform, appearing by video feed from jail for his arraignment in a Tiptonville, Tennessee courthouse on 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of aggravated kidnapping, 4 counts of felon in possession of a firearm, and 1 count of possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. Drummond showed no expressions as Lake County General Sessions Judge Andrew T. Cook read the charges to him. At this time, the state intends to seek the death penalty. Good. Danny Goodman, district attorney for Dyer and Lake counties, told the judge. Cook entered a not guilty plea on Drummond's behalf because he didn't yet have an attorney, and appointed attorney Brian Huffman to represent him at his next hearing scheduled for August 14th. Cook ordered Drummond, age 28, held without bond because, he said, state law allows him to deny bond in capital cases, and because, first and foremost, it's the court's responsibility to take into consideration the safety posed to the community. Drummond was remanded to the custody of the Lake County Sheriff's Department. Drummond is a convicted felon with alleged ties to a violent street gang who was out on bail at the time of the killings on an attempted murder charge relating to time he spent in prison. He is charged with the murders. And by the way, the video that I'm going to show from JLR is in regards to that attempted murder charge. So he is charged with the murders of James M. Wilson, age 21, Adriana Williams, age 20, Courtney Rose, age 38, and Braden Williams, age 15. The victims were found July 29th in Tiptonville, a town in northwest Tennessee's Lake County, the TBI said. There's a little bit of a map. The 4 were found hours after the 7-month-old daughter of Wilson and Adriana Williams, identified only by the initials WW, had been found abandoned in a car seat in a random front yard near the Dyer County community of Tigret. Hope I'm saying that right. Nearly 40 miles southeast of Tiptonville and about 40 miles northwest of Jackson, authorities said. Drummond allegedly kidnapped the baby while he was armed with a firearm, according to the affidavit of complaint in the case. The document does not offer any additional details about the alleged kidnapping, including whether Drummond ended up abandoning the child. Rose was the baby's maternal grandmother, and Braden Williams was the baby's maternal uncle, according to Goodman. Drummond's girlfriend was Rose's sister, according to Goodman, and she served as a corrections officer when and where Drummond was in prison for aggravated robbery, which I believe he spent about 10 years-ish in prison for that. but authorities have not released any court documents or details identifying a motive for the killings or any other information about how they identified Drummond as a suspect. Three other people have been charged with allegedly helping Drummond after the killings. Title Drummond was released from prison just last year. Drummond's rap sheet dates back to 2013 when the then 16-year-old, armed with a pistol, robbed a Circle K convenience store in Jackson just after midnight. Court documents show. For that, he was convicted in 2014 of aggravated robbery and sentenced to 10 years in prison. After the trial, he made threats against the victim of the robbery and against the jurors who found him guilty. The jurors. Let that sink in. Resulting in being charged with retaliation for past action and 3 more years added to his sentence, according to District Attorney Jody S. Pickens and court records. After serving his time, Drummond was released in September of last year, so September of 2024, but faced new charges related to his time in prison. A drug arrest the day he was released and an attempted murder case, according to records from the TBI. Drummond and another defendant allegedly tried to kill a third inmate on August 29th of 2023, according to the indictment in that case. The indictment does not include details about the incident. He made bond and was out on bond on those charges when the bodies were found in Tiptonville, Goodman said. The bond was officially revoked in court on Thursday. And here we have the victims. You have on the top left to right is Adriana. Then we have James and their baby. You have Courtney down here and Braden. A whole family gone. Kim Hamill, hope I say that right, Wilson's mother, told the Associated Press that she and other relatives were trying to let justice take its course and plan to attend Drummond's hearings whenever they can. She said relatives are caring for her son's baby girl. It's a whole family gone, like a whole family gone. It's unbelievable, Hamill said. As a family, we're just broken. Okay, so let me get rid of that. And then I'm going to bring up what I thought I had. Oh, I guess I don't. I thought I did. I'll have to look for JLR's one. So let's just let me see if I can find it. So hang on. One moment. And by the way, his channel again is JLR Investigates. One moment. Still looking here. Let's see if it's a video. I know that he had one. One I had pulled up was actually the Devil's Den. That's not what I'm looking for. Well, I guess I don't. So my mistake. So let's just go ahead and move on here. What I'm going to do next is um, read an article and see, do the video about his prior parole hearing where he defends himself. Okay, so this is new audio. Austin Drummond defends himself in past parole hearing. WREG investigators uncovered new audio that has suspected mass murderer Austin Drummond defending himself as to why he had a weapon behind bars and used it in a fight years before he was arrested for the murder of 4 people on Tuesday. The audio was recorded July 23rd of 2020 when Austin Drummond went before the Tennessee Board of Parole. He'd been serving a 13-year sentence at a state prison in Lake County. Drummond's disciplinary infractions from the previous year were discussed during the hearing. Looks like you have some pending charges right now for drugs and the cell phones that the parole board member. Those haven't been handled yet, Drummond responded. On top of that, he'd been in solitary confinement for 90 days for possession of a deadly weapon, an assault with that weapon, refusing a drug test, a security threat, and refusing to participate. Let's see what this. Yeah, you have the dates, you have the infraction, and you have the disposition. So it looks like you've had about 27 incidents total in total. 7 of them Class A's, 7 Class B's. We've had threats, deadly weapons, a violation of state law, threats, and etc. Does that sound right? The parole board member had asked. Yes, sir. The assault and deadly weapon, it came after. It was self-defense. I was almost beat to death. That's where that came from, Drummond said. The parole board records don't delve into Drummond's entire disciplinary record while in prison. In 2023, photos reportedly posted to Drummond's Facebook page show him with premium liquor, streaming devices, video games, and multiple phones. That is crazy that he is allowed to have all this stuff. Look at this, all this stuff. Living the life of luxury in prison. Drummond also picked up contraband, attempted murder, drug, and weapon charges during the end of his sentence. The parole board file confirmed he's a member of the Vice Lords gang, and he only finished the 10th grade. He was tried as an adult after a video showed him at 17 years old in a gas station in Jackson, pointing a pistol at a clerk. It was a BB gun, Drummond told the parole board member. Honestly, I was on Xanax that night. I don't even remember doing it. Whatever, dude. He told the board he was using Xanax, alcohol, and marijuana around that time. Then you've got 13 counts retaliation for past action. Tell me about this, asked the parole board member. Yes, sir. After my trial and after I was convicted, I was on the phone with my dad and I made a comment I would be out soon. And I had the jury information, he said. Drummond confirmed he made threats to go after them. Freaking idiot. The district attorney in Jackson sent a letter opposing an early release, stating in part that Drummond has no desire or for retaliation and is not capable of living among society. Duh. Drummond stated as of 2020 he had only completed one program promoting pro-social behavior. He received his GED, but had not completed any vocational programs. The Pro Board voted unanimously against an early release. Drummond was on the run since July 29th of 2025, when the bodies of James Wilson, age 21, Adriana Williams, age 20, Courtney Rose, age 38, and Braden Williams, age 15, were found along Carrington Road in Tiptonville. An infant who was related to the victims, an infant who belongs to James and Adriana, was also found safe in front of a house in Dyer County. The baby is safe and healthy, authorities said. Drummond was captured Tuesday. He's now facing 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of aggravated kidnapping, 4 counts of felon in possession of a firearm, and 1 count of possession of firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. And he was denied bond. And to hear the full recording, let me go ahead and play that. Here we go.
All right, today's date is the 23rd of July, 2020. The time now 1:07 p.m. I'm hearing your case from the West Tennessee State Penitentiary by webcam, and this is an initial parole hearing for Austin Drummond. Mr. Drummond, can I get your date of birth?
8/31/96.
And your TDOC number or your TOMAS number?
541332.
Thank you. My name is Jeff Barker. I'm a hearings officer with the Tennessee Board of Parole. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
If at any point in time you can't, let me know and I'll be glad to repeat myself, okay?
Yes, sir.
And would you have expected any visitors to attend this hearing today if not for these restrictions that are in place?
Yes, my parents would have been here.
All right, you've got a decision to make. Would you like to postpone this hearing to a later date to allow your visitors to be present, or would you like to continue and have this hearing today?
I'll continue today.
You want to have your hearing today without your visitors present, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, we can do that. Let me just update your file here. And do you have any new certificates or documents that you've not already given to your IPO?
No, sir.
All right, the purpose of this hearing is to gather information from you and your records and make a non-binding recommendation on whether to grant or deny you parole. This is just a recommendation. Your file and the information gathered today will be forwarded to the board, who will then vote on your case. They will either accept, reject, or modify my recommendation, and you will receive written notification from the board in a timely manner. Do you understand the purpose of this hearing?
Yes, sir.
Appeals may be granted for the following reasons. Number one, if there is significant new evidence or information that was not available at the time of the hearing. 2, if there are allegations of misconduct by the hearing official. And 3, if there were significant procedural errors by the hearings official. Appeals must be submitted within 45 days from the date that you receive that written final decision from the board. Your IPO will have those forms and can assist you if needed. Do you understand your appeal rights?
Yes, sir.
Did you receive prior notice of this hearing at least 14 days ago?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any detainers or pending charges, either federal, state, or local?
I have detained, but no pending charges.
Okay, what is your detainer for?
I have I have to serve 6 months in the county jail for vandalism.
All right, hang on just a second. Let me update that. That's out of Madison County?
Yes, sir.
and I see that you're currently serving the remainder of a 13-year sentence, and that is going to be all for, let's see, 1 Class B for aggravated robbery, and then 13 Class E's for retaliation for past action, all of those out of Madison County. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm showing this is your initial parole hearing. You've not had any before now, correct?
Correct.
And your most recent strong R assessment was done in June of this year. You were scored as high for violent with pathways of mild substance use, interpersonal skills, and vocational. I'm showing you've been locked up about 83 months since August of 2013. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing your present custody level as maximum.
Yes, sir.
And you reported juvenile convictions for, well, these convictions here, you were juvenile, correct?
Yes, sir. I was 16.
All right. Any other juvenile convictions other than these 14 here?
I have some misdemeanor weed possessions and some trespassing charges, stuff like that. Drug paraphernalia. No felonies.
And of course, no adult felony convictions, no supervision experience. I'm showing the highest grade you completed was 10th at Northside High School, and that you got your GED in 2016.
Yes, sir.
Any technical, vocational, or college degrees completed?
No, sir.
And you have no employment experience, correct?
I worked at Catfish Cabin, a restaurant in Jackson. I worked at Kroger when I was 15, 16.
Okay. And no military experience, I'm assuming?
No, sir.
All right. And what programs have you completed this incarceration?
Pro-social?
Anything else?
No, sir. I was in TCOM when I came to Max, so all that happened.
And you completed pro-social life skills around April of 2015?
Yes, sir.
Currently enrolled in any programs?
Say that again, sir?
Are you currently enrolled in any programs?
No, sir.
Do you owe any restitution?
No, sir. Not that I know of. I don't think so.
All right. Looking at your disciplinary, your write-ups, I'm showing most recently, looks like you've got a couple of pending right now for drugs and a cell phone. Have those been to D-Board yet?
No, those haven't been handled yet.
All right, and then we'll skip on to the ones that have. I'm showing May of this year a Class A for possession of a deadly weapon, Class A for assault with that weapon, also a Class B for refusing or altering a drug test. March of this year showing a Class A for security threat group activity, as well as a Class A for refusing to participate. Also have multiple others. Looks like you've had about 27 incidents in total. 7 of them Class A, 7 Class Bs. We've had threats, deadly weapons, violation of state law, drugs, and etc. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to say? Any statements you want to make about your discipline?
Yes, sir. These past few months, the assault and the deadly weapon, it came after it was self-defense. I was almost beat to death. That's where that came from. But before those recent ones, I went almost 2 years without any disciplinary.
All right. Were there any co-defendants on any of your active sentences?
No, sir.
Tell me about the aggravated robbery. What did you do to get this charge?
I robbed a gas station.
Were you armed?
Yes, sir.
What did you have?
It was a BB gun.
Was anyone injured?
No, sir.
How much money or what did you take?
It was like $40.
Why were you robbing a gas station?
Honestly, I was on Xanax that night. I don't even remember doing anything.
All right. Using any other drugs or alcohol around that time?
No, just Xanax, alcohol, and marijuana.
All right. And then you've got 13 counts of retaliation for past action. Tell me about this.
Yes, sir. After my trial, after I was convicted, I was on the phone with my dad, and I made a comment that I would be out soon, and that I had the jury's information.
So you made threats to go after them?
Yes, sir.
All right, I am showing there is confidential opposition statements in your file, as well as letters of opposition from the district attorney Jody Pickens' office that is strongly opposed to your parole based on the violent aggravated robbery, as well as the threats made to harm the victim and the jurors after the trial. I do see that you've submitted a release plan for your parents, Greg and Andrea Drummond. That'll be in Jackson, Tennessee, and you're requesting a temporary job waiver. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else you'd like to submit or any final statements you'd like to make?
No, sir.
Give me just a few minutes. Let me look over your file, and I will have your recommendation shortly, okay?
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Drummond, we've gone over your file today. I do need to make note this is a early release hearing. You're currently not showing eligible for release until August of next year. We've also gone over your custody level as maximum, recent and discipline ongoing throughout this incarceration. I'm going to recommend that you be declined for adverse effect on discipline, also for seriousness of offense, based on the aggravated robbery with a firearm and those threats to the victims and jurors, and also consider you to be high risk based on your behavior this incarceration, including your custody level and removal from programs. I'm going to recommend that you be placed on a review docket in 3 years for July of 2023. Do you understand my recommendation?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
This hearing is now concluded, 1:19 p.m. Good luck to you, Mr. Drummond.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we're going to review this other article. It says new details emerge as quadruple suspect arraigned. I just want to see if it's anything actually new. Okay, yeah, that was just a video that they had on the article. So let me go ahead and share this. Looks like there's a little bit more information here. Okay. So Austin Drummond, new details emerge as quadruple unaliving suspect is arraigned. This was done August 7th, so right around the same time the other article that I read to you, but it does have a little bit more information. So I'm just going to go ahead and read the entire article, but so some of it may be a little bit repetitive, but looks like there's a little bit more information. So Austin Drummond, suspect in the quadruple killing of a baby's family, appeared in court for arraignment Thursday in Lake County, Tennessee. Again, I am going to show the arraignment video. He is accused of killing 21-year-old Matthew Wilson, 20-year-old Adriana Williams, 38-year-old Courtney Rose, and 15-year-old Braden Williams. The victims were the parents, grandmother, and uncle, respectively, of a baby who was found abandoned in Dyer County on July 29th. On that day, the 7-month-old was discovered in Tigret. Again, I hope I'm saying that right. A neighborhood of Dyer, as she was in a stranger's front yard sitting in a car seat, which added that the baby's 4 relatives were found about 40 miles away in a woodsy part of Tiptonville with deadly firearm injuries. Police said on Tuesday that it was the family members of Drummond's girlfriend who had been targeted. Drummond, who has been charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder along with aggravated kidnapping and abandonment. Judge entered a not guilty plea for him. The suspect in the quadruple killings was out on bond over charges related to time in prison when the bodies were found, citing authorities. Drummond spent years in prison for robbing a Tennessee convenience store in 2013 and threatening the jurors, the Associated Press reported, citing court records. He pointed a pistol at an employee at the store, which I believe was, they said, a Circle K in Jackson, and demanded money from the register. He left with $44. Idiot. Drummond, who was 16 at the time, was tried as an adult. After the jury convicted Drummond of 1 count of aggravated murder, he threatened to go after juries during a parole hearing. He pleaded guilty in February 2015 to 13 counts of retaliation for past actions, according to the AP. Tennessee Department of Correction records show that Drummond was sentenced to 13 years in prison, which he finished serving in September of 2024. While in prison, Drummond was accused of posting photos and videos on social media depicting access to cell phones, a handheld gaming system, a TV streaming device, and alcohol. Tennessee Department of Correction Public Information Officer Bradley Canada confirmed to Newsweek that Drummond received a disciplinary action while incarcerated. The introduction of contraband is a serious threat to prison systems across the country and the safety of both staff and inmates. The Department of Correction works diligently to intercept and recover all forms of contraband, partnering with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies to aggressively prosecute these cases, Canada said. Authorities said Drummond spent part of his time on the run, hiding in a vacant pool house in Jackson. A caretaker who encountered Drummond there said he was confronted at gunpoint, according to police. I hit the ground, scrambled, and took off running, the caretaker told Fox 13. He took off running. He ran toward me at first, which really made me take off. I spooked him. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation Director David Roush, in comments to reporters on Friday, it appears with all the information that we have that this was a targeted incident. The caretaker who encountered Drummond in comments to Fox 13 Memphis, I feel super blessed myself from surviving that. Yeah, no kidding. I would be too. Damn. But my heart goes out to the families. It's a terrible, tragic thing, and I'm so glad for the people that got him into custody. And then they talk about what happens next. So now I'm going to go ahead and um, get the court one up here. Just getting this so you guys don't have to wait so long. Let's just do this. All right, so let's go ahead and share this. And then there'll be one more article that I'll have to read about the criminal defense attorney explaining the next steps.
So the man who is on Tennessee's most wanted list, 28-year-old Austin Drummond, accused of killing 4 people and kidnapping a baby in Northwest Tennessee. We are just waiting on Drummond's arrival there in court, but we have a crew on the scene right now in a courtroom. There's also 4 other people that have been arrested in this case and have been charged with helping, aiding, and abetting Drummond there. And you can see him there now. We're going to take you live to the scene.
This morning that you have before the court is one count of first-degree murder. It's alleged that on 29th of July, Mr. Braden Williams was located deceased from apparent gunshot wounds on Carrington Road in Tiptonville in Lake County, Tennessee. During the course of the investigation, it was determined that Mr. Drummond did with premeditation, knowingly and intentionally kill Mr. Braden Keith Williams with the use of a firearm. It's alleged he did commit this offense also while being in possession of a firearm after being convicted of a felony, being aggravated robbery in Madison County, Tennessee. He has one count, therefore, of first-degree murder and unlawful possession of a firearm.
Meet Billy. He decided to go with Nuvia for his dental implants.
Second charge you have, sir, is first-degree murder and one other count of unlawful possession of a firearm. It's alleged during the course of investigation that a James Wilson was located deceased from apparent gunshot wounds in Lake County, Tennessee on Carrington Road. It was determined that you with premeditation knowingly and intentionally killed Mr. Wilson with the use of a firearm. It's also alleged, based on the same facts or circumstances, that you are a convicted felon out of Madison County. In addition to that, sir, you also have one count of first-degree murder and unlawful possession of a weapon. It's alleged that you, during the course of investigation, officers determined that Mr. Drummond, with premeditation, knowingly and intentionally killed Miss Adriana Williams in Lake County, Tennessee, on Carrington Road. She was discovered from an apparent gunshot wound, deceased. In addition to that, he also is a convicted felon out of Madison County, Tennessee. You also, sir, have one count of first-degree murder and additional unlawful possession of a weapon. It's alleged during the course of the investigation, officers determined that you did with premeditation knowingly, intentionally kill Miss Courtney Rose with the use of a firearm. She was discovered deceased from apparent gunshot wounds on Carrington Road in Lake County, Tennessee. It's alleged, in addition to that, sir, as previously stated, you are a convicted felon allegedly from the county of Madison in Tennessee. Ms. Jessica, we have the other good in charge. I don't have anything we didn't have. Never mind. Sorry about that, Mr. Drummond. In addition to that, finally, he has one count of aggravated kidnapping and a possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. It's alleged that all of the victims in the count in the case that previously were mentioned were located deceased from apparent gunshot wounds on the same date. A minor child with the date of birth 12/12/2024 with the initials WW was discovered left in the front of a residence in Dyer County, Tennessee. States that Mr. Drummond committed the offense of aggravated kidnapping by false imprisonment, which was committed to facilitate the commission of a felony or flight. It's alleged he committed this offense also possessing a firearm during the commission of said dangerous felony. When he possessed a firearm, he therefore has those counts. General Goodman, is the state moving forward with felony charges in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor, we are.
Mr. Drummond, I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for you at this time on your behalf, being that you did not have counsel appointed or retained to represent you. Are you going to be able to hire an attorney, sir, to represent you, or will you need me to ask you questions about your finances to appoint you an attorney?
I'm not going to be able to hire an attorney.
Okay. Sir, if you could, to the best of your ability, please raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is true, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You can put your hand down, sir. Mr. Drummond, prior to being taken in on these charges, sir, were you working anywhere?
I have a business, incredible run business, kids parties, restaurant shows, decorations, stuff like that.
So you were self-employed, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is what I'm going to ask you, sir. Obviously, that may vary depending on how much business you generate monthly. If you could estimate for me what your monthly income would be from that business?
It varied, but it was around $46,000.
Okay. Okay.
Excuse me, a lot of it, I was just starting up, a lot of the money to run right back in to invest in it.
When did you start the business, sir?
I started LLC in February. I believe I started operations just a month or two ago.
Just a month or two ago? Okay. Sir, let me ask you, do you own a home? Do you own a vehicle? I'm sorry?
I do in the cities right now.
Okay. Can you tell me the make and model of the vehicle, sir?
And Cadillac Group,
Okay. You recall how much you paid for that vehicle?
$12,000.
Okay. Are you still, are you making payments on the vehicle?
No, sir.
Do you have a checking or savings account, sir?
Yes.
Do you know roughly at this moment how much is in that checking or savings account?
$500.
General, I think due to the sort of uncertainty of his business, I think that based on that and the fact he doesn't own much personal property, I think he does qualify as indigent for appointment to counsel. I have reached out previously to Mr. Brian Huffman out of Covington, and he has told me he is willing to take the appointment in this case. So what I'm going to do is appoint Mr. Brian Huffman to represent Mr. Drummond in this case. Mr. Drummond, Mr. Brian Huffman is an attorney in Covington, Tennessee. He'll be appointed in this case to represent you, sir. We're going to get his contact information to you, and also we're going to get his information for where to contact him and locate him and be able to discuss your case with him. We'll be happy to get that to you, and we're going to send you his files we're going to send your files to his office for him to review that. Okay. General, does the state wish to be heard on bond at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, at this time, the state intends to seek the death penalty. This is a capital case. We're asking that he be held without bond. In addition to that, he has a bond out of circuit court. We have filed motions to revoke those bonds that will be heard later in the month of August in circuit court.
Mr. Drummond, what I'm going to do before I make a position on bond, I'm going to ask you some questions, sir. And if this information is not correct, sir, please just tell me if it is not, okay? Can you still hear me okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 16 O'Neill Oakway, Apartment E in Jackson. Is that a good address for you, sir?
Not anymore. 54 Armory Lane, Jackson, Tennessee, 3801.
Okay. How long have you lived at that address, sir?
54 Armory Lane, 16 Armory Lane.
I'll make it easier. How long have you lived in the city of Jackson?
Since I was released in September of last year.
Okay. Before you were incarcerated on your previous charge, where were you living at?
630 Road, Jackson, Tennessee.
Okay. So for the majority of your life, have you lived in Jackson, Tennessee?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any family in Lake County, Tennessee?
Awesome.
I'm not going to ask him questions about whether he's a prior convicted felon. I obviously don't want him to incriminate himself for that purpose. Folks, in the state of Tennessee, bond is a guaranteed right, with the exception of one incident when it is a capital offense and when the proof is evident or is great. Based on the affidavits I've read here today, it does appear that for purposes of bond, in addition to not only what the statute says, but first and foremost, that it's the court's responsibility to take into consideration the safety posed to the community. The court finds that the defendant will be held without bond, and he'll be remanded into the custody of the Lake County Sheriff's Department, pending all appearances and hearings in this matter.
May I address one other issue?
Yes, sir.
The state is also requesting a restraining order, not just as a condition of bond, but as a restraining order besides that. And that would be for the family of victims, Courtney Rose, Adriana Williams, Braden Williams, and James Williams.
Mr. Drummond, let me go over with you, sir, what the general has said.
I'm sorry. And also the minor child, WW, who was the minor child.
Yes, sir. I was going to include that, General, but I appreciate you mentioning that. Mr. Drummond, what I'm going to do is, this is something that obviously you do not have this in front of you at the moment. I'm going to be sending to you in a moment through one of our deputies to the jail. We're going to be sending you a form called Notice of Bond Conditions. What that's going to tell you is that you have bond conditions that you must follow. Obviously, if you are incarcerated, you will not be out on bond, but if you were to be granted bond at a later date, then these bond conditions would apply. But your bond conditions are: you should have no contact with any of the family members of the victims in this matter, the alleged victims in this matter, Miss Courtney Rose, Miss Adriana Williams, Braden Williams, and Matthew Wilson. In addition to that, sir, you cannot possess a firearm under any circumstances, and you cannot have any contact as well with the minor child that's alleged to be involved in this incident. The court is also going to put a condition down that you must keep in contact with your attorney, Mr. Brian Huffman. In addition to that, sir, the court is going to issue restraining orders separate from your bond conditions that state you must not have any contact with these victims at all throughout the entire cause of action. The court is going to send those over to you. You will be served a copy of those. I told Mr. Huffman I did not discuss the possibility. I wanted to wait until he's officially appointed. If your office would like for me to go ahead and set another appearance date before the preliminary hearing, I'm fine to do that, General. What's the state?
Yeah, we set the others for August 14th. We'd like to keep all these together and set that date if possible.
Is your child struggling with a gaming addiction? Major companies behind games like Minecraft, Fortnite, and Roblox.
Mr. Drummond, I'm going to continue your case to August the 14th, sir, at 9 a.m. Mr. Huffman will be in contact with you prior to that to go over your case, and he will be able to hopefully answer any questions that he has for you, sir, okay, or that you have for him. I apologize. We will see you back here then, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. As long as it's not related to the facts of your case or anything that could infringe on your Fifth Amendment rights, I'm fine with that, sir.
I'm just wondering, is now the time for me to ask for a quick speech trial, or how's that look?
Well, now that I've appointed you counsel, any motions that will be filed will go through your attorney, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. All right, folks. Case is continued to August 14th at 9 o'clock. Thank you. We are going to also take up Mr. Powell. I believe I was told that they're going to bring him over, folks.
Okay, so a lot to get into here. Again, that was Austin Drummond making his first court appearance here on this Thursday after he was captured the other day. Now, the key things to keep in mind, just already we've learned in this initial public appearance for Drummond, is he has been appointed a public defender and will be held in the jail without bond, but the state will be seeking the death penalty. That has now been confirmed by the state's attorneys there at that court appearance. The state of Tennessee will be seeking the death penalty in the case against Austin Drummond. The judge agreed that in the light of those facts, Drummond will be held without bail and will be remanded to the county sheriff's office there up in Lake County. He's not allowed to have any contact with the family. There's been a restraining order put in place. That's, as the judge said, separate from some of his bond conditions. A restraining order has been put in place against the victims in this case, as well as the small child that was involved in this incident as well. But the case will be continued on August the 14th at 9 a.m., just about a week from today, a week from right now. Again, he's been granted a public defender. That public defender, I heard, Brian Huffman out of Covington. Brian Huffman from Covington will be the public defender for Austin Drummond in this case. But again, Drummond now being held at the Lake County Sheriff's Office without bond, and the state will be seeking the death penalty in this case. This case will be continued a week from today at 9 a.m. there in Lake County. We've got a couple other members or a couple other people that are being tried. They are making their first appearance, I should say, in the courthouse. Those that are accused of helping Drummond evade capture post arrest.
Okay, so that was his bond and first initial hearing. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to read the article about the criminal defense attorney who explains the next steps, and then I will go ahead and end it out because we are going on about an hour. And again, I just want to remind people that this is my first live stream of a true crime case. There are a lot of ups and downs that everything I'm just trying to figure out. I have not set an outro video, so unfortunately it's just gonna end, which I will be working on that. I do have an intro video, but I'll be working on an outro video too. So let me go ahead and share my screen, get to reading. Okay, so criminal defense attorney explains next steps in Austin Drummond case after state seeks the death penalty. And this was published Friday. Phil Harvey, a criminal defense attorney in Memphis, says there are more procedural steps the state must take before Austin Drummond's case is officially declared a death penalty case. Right now, the case is in general sessions, and Mr. Drummond has a right to a preliminary hearing. How quickly he gets counsel and whether or not he makes that decision to request a preliminary with his counsel will be a factor, said Harvey. He stated that if a preliminary hearing is held, the state will need to present evidence at that time explaining why they suspect Drummond is connected to the crime. On Thursday, Judge Andrew Cook appointed Drummond and attorney Brian Huffman out of Covington, Tennessee. Harvey said Drummond has a right to a preliminary hearing within 14 days. He said the judge and the state don't have to wait much longer after that to move the case forward. Harvey said if this becomes a death penalty case, Drummond's criminal history will play a role in every step of the proceedings. He said, we already saw that Drummond's criminal history had a part in Judge Cook's decision to hold him without bond. It's an aggravating factor which is a basis for the state to seek the death penalty. And two, I think especially considering he was tried as an adult or transferred as an adult for his 2013 Circle K robbery and convicted of an adult crime as a teenager, that's going to play into the arguments of both the prosecution and the defense, said Harvey. The prosecution arguing that he deserves to die, and the defense arguing essentially, we don't deserve to kill him yet. We failed him as a society. Harvey said that the way the statute falls for the death penalty in the state of Tennessee means the state has to prove at least one aggravating factor. He said that factor can be Drummond's criminal history, but it could also be the heinousness of the July 29th quadruple homicide in Lake County. Harvey said he believes the prosecution is going to mention both, along with any others they can find when they go to file that notice. Harvey also addressed the charges against the other suspects charged with helping Drummond, Tanaka Brown, Giovanni Thomas, and Deara Sanders. And then there you see those three. And they were charged for accessory helping after the fact. They may speak to these co-defendants' attorneys to see if they want to cooperate against Mr. Drummond. So if they signal their willingness to cooperate, then their cases may just be held open until his case is resolved, said Harvey. The attorney said if they don't cooperate, it is possible the prosecution could decide to go to trial on their cases before Drummond. And that is that. And so, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. The next case I'm thinking of doing a live on is going to be Travis Decker. But I need to gather some more information on that, and I will schedule a live at some point, maybe either tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow is a court day. And let me pull it up here. This is going to be day 5 of the Georgia versus Nicholas Casotis. I'll probably be on maybe around 10:30. I'll get that live scheduled tomorrow. Other than that, I will see you all later. Bye.